So we've done many stories about recovery. We have written many stories. We have done many live shows, many recorded shows.
And
all
we've been
in,
through recovery.
and we've been through recovery. That's right. That's probably a very important point. Uh, and we just wanted to make sure that we were getting through to the people who are actively using meth. And so as Mother's Day approaches, we had this idea because while there have been several people actually who have been inspired by these stories to stop doing using meth, and our hats off to them because it's not an easy thing to do, there are many more who've ignored these series that we've done because of the reasons that we have ignored everybody when we were active users who cared enough to tell us that we were wrong. And there are three separate topic areas that we believe need to be addressed
Right.
in order for maybe people who are actively using meth to hear this, to open their ears, to listen, because we know what it's like to be you.
Yeah.
And now we have a perspective that has gone beyond that now that we are no longer using. And so, what better way to address this than to ask the question, why don't meth users listen to their mothers? And we thought Mother's Day was the perfect backdrop, and we thought that the perfect people to have this conversation with are people who themselves have not been meth users, have tried to not be judgmental of meth users, have tried to help meth users, but also, like anybody else, doesn't really know how to get through to meth users. And I thought, well, they made and they're selling Nana's knives for Mother's Day. So I thought let's show this off and let's get this interview started.
So I'll just start off by saying that Frank and I have been watching you guys since day one. Like, we've been tuning into Kandit since before you guys were even Kandit. Since you were doing your rants on Facebook and
Facebook Live.
Facebook Live, and I'll tell you, you guys have really educated me and Frank on drug addiction, because prior to the stories that you guys were sharing, your journey to getting clean and addiction, I had no clue about majority of what you were saying. Like, it was a different language, and I never knew that the things that you were telling your viewers would actually come to play, because even though we both of us don't have family members or anyone in our lives growing up who dealt with addiction, just a few years ago we had a really close friend fall into really heavy addiction. And because of your stories and what you were sharing, and just kind of breaking the stereotype in my head of what a drug user looked like and what the reality of the situation was, it really helped me and helped us kind of handle the situation better than how I would have handled it if I didn't hear you guys talk about it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, in my mind, when I think of someone who's a drug addict, it's one picture, you know, prior to what you guys were sharing, because I knew you before you came out saying that, and I would have never known. And so that's just the reality. It's not just one type of person that uses drugs. It's a wide variety: rich, poor, educated, uneducated. So it was really helpful when our friend was going through all of this to kind of have a basic understanding and less judgment when that person was going through it. So and then I think a lot of people can really relate on how much you've educated us, people who are kind of unfamiliar, people who are very familiar, on your journey, and just kind of like handling that whole thing, because it was heavy.
Yeah.
You know,
what? When we first started talking about that, about or not even recovering, just our journey into the getting off of drugs. At the time that we did it, we didn't think of like the long term. We're like, okay, this is who we are. We need to break the culture, right? And we're not gonna lie about who we are.
Yeah.
You know, and of course, when we started, we knew a lot of people would have like wanted to break Troy down, and I'm behind him saying, you know what, they cannot use anything against us that we already have told them.
Yeah.
So let's be honest and stay and tell everybody everything that's going on behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great.
So you guys have inspired me with your honest, hard work. And I have watched Shinarp Services grow from an idea and the Shinarp brand into something just wonderful. And I just think that for many people who are in active uh, abuse of drugs, one of the main things that they likely think about is what am I going to do without drugs? Is there even a place for me? And obviously, you guys have made a place for yourselves, out of nothing. And I'm really proud to use our platform to promote Shinarp knives. And I know that there is a promo that is going on right now. Nana's knives. I'm very interested to see this. Can you tell us about this?
Yeah, would you like to present?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, are we presenting it now?
Yeah.
Yeah, show our audience
Okay,
Nana's
let's
knives.
present it.
Yeah.
Well, we have to unbox it. Is that
No,
okay?
You don't have to unbox it.
Okay,
I
okay.
don't want you to waste it because you can see it on.
Yeah, you can find it on.
Oh yeah. We'll
Yes,
cut. We'll
so-
slip that in.
So this Nana set, and you even get your little cleaver just in case.
Oh, the bag comes with it too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Nice.
look, it's a Tanana bag, me.
Nice.
No, so well here, this is for you. You can put it on your side. So the reason why I name it the Nana set is because when I first came out with my blades, I had my nice German chef knife, my Japanese knife. I had all of these different knives, and then growing up, my mom was the cook in the house. So mom, try this. This is my new knife. Like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, this is good. Man, but where's your set? I'm like, hey, come on, mom. Like, dude, this is look at this. This is German steel. This is Japanese. This is a Japanese design knife. Yeah, but what if I want to cut the bread, or if I want to, where's my small little utility knife, or my little knife if I need to cut the fruit or the papaya, or how about that? And I'm like, dang, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
so this is the first set.
this is my second set, but this one is just based because of my mom.
Okay.
Yeah, so because I wanted to do like a Mother's Day like knife or a santoku knife, or something that a knife that you could use like an all arounder. But because of my mom's voice in the back,
No, because you do have different knives.
Yeah.
I cook. I'm the cook at home.
yeah, you have
So
different.
there's certain knives that I use for certain things.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So
it
that's
makes sense.
that's my mom. Man, Kiko, yeah, these knives are all nice, but where's your set? I'm like, oh, geez, mom, come on, like so. I came out with the Nana set just in time for Mother's Day, right? So you get all the knives. You get your chef knife, you get your santoku knife, the bread knife,
The
my
paring
mom,
knife.
the paring knife, the utility knife, and then it comes with a block, so you.
Scissors.
Oh, and the scissors and a little sharpening rod. So it's cool. Yeah.
Where can people order it?
So you can get it at bladesbycrank.com. We're not launching till Friday. This Friday at 10 a.m. or at the local shop in the Ganya Shopping Center on Friday. I only have like 10 left or 8 left. So if people can just go to bladesbycrank.com and
Make a reservation there.
no, enter your email just so that you can try to be the first to get the link so that you can you can secure yours.
And of course, you have other products.
Yes.
Not as nice.
Yes, so this one, dang dude, you're gonna get all the knives today, bro. So this one I like to consider this one my oh, dude, you have me going down the rabbit hole with knives, bro. So this one is kind of like so this is my German
nice.
steel knife. It comes with a baina, right, or like a cover. But the reason why I really like this knife is because this one is like your Nissan Frontier or your Toyota Tacoma.
All around.
All around her.
All
You
around.
go to the beach, has aircon.
That's
You
with
can
the cibotes already.
yeah, everything,
Cut
you
the
know.
meat and the onion.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the garlic.
And-
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
This one's for you guys.
I
Yeah,
really
so
appreciate
but
that.
just watch out because it's Shinarp.
I know. I'm not even gonna try. But this is really heavy. What is this?
So in this set for the Nana's Day set, that has probably like 4 of the knives. So
Oh, okay.
they're just all boxed in one.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Oh.
And you're gonna make so many nanas happy, but you're gonna make even more nanas
I'm
happy.
gonna make 8 nanas
with,
happy.
8
with this
Of them.
with this conversation that we're gonna have and the
Yeah.
questions that you're going to ask us. We're open books, so ask us anything you want. The entire goal of this thing is to try to get through to our fellow meth users who are actively using meth, and it's not an easy thing to do. But let's order some drinks first.
Okay.
Can I get 2 strawberry Dollaritas and 1 peach Dollarita and a pineapple juice, please? Thank you, thank you. Thank you. So, I love Applebee's. This, they have something called a Dollarita. You're gonna see it. It looks wonderful. It smells wonderful, and it costs $1. I love it so much. So anyway, so Frank was explaining that he has only 8 knife sets left, and so this is the reason. So when Blades by Crank goes live, there have been people who've already been sending their emails in and asking. So this is the reason things are sort of selling out. It's not that there was just 8 8 sets. This is just how much it's in demand, and so that's why when you go to bladesbycrank.com and put your information in so that you can be next in line for a hot product.
So Sarah and I, we put some questions together, and one of them is, why is it so difficult to get meth users to know that we truly care about their sobriety?
That is a very, very good question. And to this day, I have a very hard time speaking to anybody who is an active user, who has not asked for my help, who has not said to me, oh, I want to stop using. So I feel like I'm imposing on them, but then I remember that as a user myself, when I was a user, probably what that person is thinking in their head, it was the exact same thing that I was thinking in my head when I was a user was, oh, you're just judging me. You don't know what I'm going through. You're judging me. And so right then and there, at least for me, personally speaking, my mind shuts off. And it didn't matter if it was my dad who was saying, son, I don't like to see you this way. However he said it, right? Or somebody a friend who was like, I think you got to slow down because it's showing, you're getting too thin or your speech is whatever. And all I'm thinking in my head is, you have no idea what I'm going through. You're just judging me because you don't know what it's like to be me. And so fast forward to all these years later, and I've had a chance to think about that, and I've had a chance to consider all these different people who had words of encouragement for me, who, when they had those words of encouragement, I didn't look at it as encouragement. I looked at it as discouragement. I looked at it as being judgmental. And I realized a couple of things. Number one, they were not being judgmental. They were trying to help me.
Yeah.
They were just saying things to help me, to hopefully get it through my thick head that what I was doing was not good and it was wrong. But they didn't even come at me like that. They just wanted to help. And then the other thing that I realized is that, who the hell did I think I was to just, and even if I didn't say it, even if I just thought it, to say to this other human being, or to think to this other human being, oh, you're just judging me, you don't know what I've been through. How self-centered was I? Because you have problems. You have problems. You have problems. You've never used meth. All these people who were trying to get it through my thick head, they weren't using meth. They never used meth, but they had problems. And no matter what it was that I had thought, and I qualified to myself as, oh, this is why I'm using meth, because this happened to me, and this happened to me, and this happened to me. Everybody has problems. Nobody wants to be judged. Good people in this world, and there are a lot of them, want to help other people who they see are down. And so I wish that I wasn't so thick-headed. I wish I didn't think I was smarter than all those other people who were trying to help. I wish I didn't see my problems and whatever made me want to make an excuse for just wanting that next hit or that next bump of meth.
So to follow, like, were you prior to using? Were you susceptible to feeling judged, or was it an underlying thing that you dealt with that meth elevated, or was it something internally that you were since as a kid you would beat up someone that would judge you, or if they say something you would be sensitive and you would be like, no, why are you judging me? And then it was just something that it was an issue that stemmed with you, or was it something that just when meth was introduced, it kind of like elevated like it changed like the, I don't know, the chemical compound in your mind to where you're like, oh man, I'm getting judged. Why are you judging me? I just want to use. I just want to use. Like, was that
Gosh, that's such a good question, and it just made me realize.
like, are you just that type of person, or was
No,
it?
no, I think I was just immature up until I was 38 years old.
So even with me, right? My family, my friends, and me when I used, the people that I loved the most, I stayed away from
Oh wow.
because I knew I was using. I couldn't face them, and when I did have no choice but to face them, they're telling me how much they love me and how much I'm so much smarter than this, and at that time, my brain would be like, I know that. I know that, but this is what I want to do. There's nothing that you can say or that was going to change my mind. You're not going to guilt me into being a better mom, or, I already knew how bad I was, and I'll just stay there.
Wow.
And then that
You
guilt,
know?
that guilt
Yeah.
probably made you feel down, so you need that up. So
Yes.
that's why you would want to go smoke again, right?
So that's the excuse that comes in. As far as the judging, like today, because I've been sober 6 years, I know I have to reach back and bring whoever I can, lift them up with me, right? And I don't ever feel like I'll bring it up. Like me, I'm like, hey, what's going on with you? Huh? Get it together, bro. Like, let's go back. Wherever you lost yourself, let's go back there. I'm right here, Troy's here. Here's Troy's number. Here's my number. Here, let's get back.
Yeah. So I guess like my question is, like, if I said something about like Dan Truman, your muscles are too big, dude, would you feel judged?
In a great way.
Yeah. Or like if someone was to kind of make fun of you, or if someone was to say something like negative or bad about you right now, that would it
No.
it wouldn't really
No, I'm
affect you? Is
I'm
that something from
Well, that's just years of being involved in politics and getting thicker skin, right? But it's also to your point about before, how did I react to judgment? I think you really hit on something. I think I was just completely immature because yes, I did take judgment in an immature way before, and maybe the meth, because it really screws with your mind. You don't know it, but meth really screws with your mind,
Yeah.
and you have no idea that it is until you're done with it, and until you just sort of look back and you're like, "Geez, man." And so I think it just stunted my emotional growth. Meth, like all those years that I was using, I was just stunted emotionally, and it took getting off of it for a few years to look back and to understand that, wow, I did not handle that the way I should have handled that. And so, man, that was a really good question, actually. Actually, I made me realize that a lot of it is just immaturity. Yeah. Yeah.
and what would be the best way to ask you or to talk to you about about using meth in the least judgmental but effective way?
Well, you take this one. I don't.
I don't think I
There's
think
no
you
right
can't sugarcoat it.
because everything is blocked off, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
there's no yeah.
Yeah. So if you feel, this is what I think. Okay, this is my opinion. I'm not a doctor.
Yeah.
If you feel someone you love is using, you don't know for sure. You haven't seen them hit the pipe with your own eyes, right? But you see how it's going.
Yeah.
I think that you need to come out and ask them straight up. And if they deny you, they're probably going to be mad at you for calling them out, and then let them go. But just let them know that when they're ready, you're here for them.
That's a
Okay.
good one.
Okay?
Never thought of it like
That
that.
is the best way to handle, because there's nothing you can do to them. You cannot beg, bargain, or steal for them, steal their recovery. They have to want it.
Yeah.
So there's that thing, right? Like I or this is the way I perceive, right? I'm not a drug user. I have never used meth before, but I feel like if in anything, right? If you want to lose weight, if you want to do something drastic, you need to find something that you value personally more than the actual habit.
Mm-hmm.
And what are some steps? What is a good way to find that
Try
while you're navigating addiction?
It kind of depends how far into the addiction you are. So there are people who, and these are the ones that people make fun of more, right? The ones you see who are homeless or they're just twacked out,
Yeah.
Or the
They're
game
eating their ear.
they're trying to eat their ear. They're trying to
Yeah,
eat their
yeah, they're driving a car. There's no car. Like that kind. Yeah.
So that's deep. The consequences have been dire already, right? So the answer to that's complicated and that's comprehensive. That requires a lot because they likely don't. Because you can say, oh, get a job, keep yourself busy, but in the steps they have to take in order to get that job, tremendous. They would have to get an ID because they probably don't have it anymore or it expired. They have to find a way to shower and to get themselves cleaned up every day to go to work. They have to get off of drugs so that for a certain amount of time so that they're no longer looking like a chronic user, right? There's so many things that come into play there, right? But if you're talking about like someone who has a job, because there are many more meth users on this island who have it together,
Yeah.
right? They appear like they have it together. Their lives are falling apart. They just don't know it, and it just doesn't show to anyone beyond their families, right? But they have something. Their work doesn't know yet. They're because they go in from 8 to 5. They do their jobs, and so it's a little easier to answer the question from that point. Is because so a caring person who that meth user cares about has got to, in my opinion, carefully but directly approach that meth user and say, I love you very much. I love your family very much. And I just don't want to see you lose your job. I don't want to see your family fall apart.
But Troy, no, but I'm fine, bro. I use and I use it when I can. But I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna lose my job. I show up to work every day. I work hard. I pay for my family. What are you talking about? Why do I have to?
So the reason, Frank, that I am approaching you about this is because I noticed something. And if I notice something, maybe your boss notices, but you don't know. Could be. Maybe your wife notices something, and you just don't know it yet. But if I notice it and I don't live with you and I don't work with you, then probably someone else has noticed. And I just care. I really care, Frank, and you want to go fishing this weekend? You want to go bowling? What do you want to do? You want to barbecue for the family? Let's do something.
Yeah. See, I could already feel the. I could already put myself in a position to where I would feel like I'm getting judged. Bro, you don't know me, man. You know what I mean? Like, what are you saying, dude?
Exactly.
My wife is fine. She didn't say anything.
Exactly.
Wow.
That is the
So
problem.
that is
That is the number one problem. The number one problem, in my opinion, of meth users, because I've been there, is you feel like you're being judged.
Yeah. And then it goes into the next step into that is, but I'm not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
Which is the next excuse that drug users use. I'm not hurting anybody. It's just me. I'm only hurting myself. The thing is that meth users we don't see that.
Yeah.
We don't understand because we don't even have to be twacked out. We could be regular, or what do you call it? Working addicts, or what do you call it?
High functioning addict.
Functioning addicts. Be functioning addicts, and everything looks like it's in control, and we believe that we're in control. But there's two problems with that. One is no, that's actually not true, no matter how slightly it is or whatever. And two, things can spiral out of control like this, and there's always the risk. And so I'm not hurting anyone really is a big thing.
So at this point in my life, my kids are adults, and so most of their lives they saw the drug use, the dealing. We have money, then we don't have money. You know, they went through the whole shebang. Okay.
Yeah.
And at this stage, like at that time, I'm not hurting anybody. I'm supporting my family. Okay. But at this point, this juncture in my life, it hurt my kids. Because even at that time, they don't see me doing this. They don't know that I'm on drugs. Kids know.
Yeah.
So now that they're adults, we're able to talk about the things that they went through. You know, so at the end of the day, the kids are the ones getting hurt. You know.
But at the time, you didn't think
Yeah,
so.
at the time, I'm like, I'm their mom. I'm hustling to make sure we're eating. You know, like they don't see that part. They're not seeing me hit the pipe. You know, like I'm not hurting anybody, only myself.
Yeah.
But in reality, that's
hurt.
not true.
Yeah. Right. So I guess like, how do you communicate that message over to someone, a user?
We talk about it
Yeah.
on shows like this.
Yeah, like
we get people educated.
yeah, because the fact that you're using, it's already detrimental
Yes.
to, even though in your own mind you don't feel that it's affecting no one around you, or you're not hurting no one. Why are you judging me? You know, but like for me, the what has me thinking is like, what is creating the excuse mindset,
The desire to use drugs.
the desire to use it.
Yeah,
right?
So
you
the
will,
first-
you
the
will
first time-
you will excuse yourself. You will excuse any of the consequences. You will excuse even hurting those closest to you.
Mhm.
And you'll say things like, "Oh, I'm not hurting them. I have it under control. I don't want to feel judged. Don't stop judging me. I don't. None of these negative vibes. I just want to do my thing. I'm my own adult, whatever, right? Because it's just an excuse to continue using."
Mhm.
You know, so even though we didn't have growing up relatives, or we weren't exposed to it until just a few years ago, and our really good friend, she fell really heavy into it. She's super smart, probably one of the smartest girls that I know. Comes from a very, very good family. She comes from money, and when I had kind of like the idea that she was using, it took me a while to straight up ask her, but I'm glad that I finally asked her. And I actually came with like a drug test. And I'm like, can you just take this? Because, you know, she had very young kids at that, or she had just one very young son. And, you know, she denied it at first, but eventually, she came clean to me. And I did all of the things that you said, I love you and I care about you and I worry about your kids. And none of that, like you said, even as smart as she is, as wonderful and loving and wonderful upbringing, none of that clicked. And I understood, I was learning as I would go and see her every other day, something was shut off, right? And then it didn't take until CPS had to come in, right, for her. But it was a blessing. It really was a blessing in disguise. And so CPS had to come in, do the extreme, and it had to force her to figure out how to get her kids back. And of course that meant getting clean. And so now she's been clean like a few years now.
Good for her.
And she's actually a peer specialist over at Behavioral Health.
Good
And
for her.
we always have these conversations, right, about drug addiction and how's your job and whatever. And she before, she was very against incarceration. Like she said, incarcerating people who are addicts, it doesn't help them, right? But she's learning through her job that sometimes it has to take incarceration.
Sometimes it saves their lives.
It saves their lives. And actually, she has friends who are also recovering addicts, and I love them. They're amazing people. And one of them, his personal story was he was arrested, and when he was going to get released, he told the judge, if you release me, I'm going to go back to doing drugs. So he begged the judge to keep him. And I think that's where there was
That's not the only story of that. Yeah.
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 So I know right now it's such a heavy topic, right? Because there's more drug users now than probably ever before. And I know people are dying from overdose and it's a huge issue. And I think Chris Barnett is even trying to push laws to try and, hold people accountable who are users. And for me, I'm just kind of sitting back and just kind of understanding, okay, what's best for the island, right? And I know it goes both ways, right? There's some people who need that love and support and they will go to that, but that didn't work for my girlfriend. all the doors, all these wonderful doors were opening up, begging her to come in. But she just chose otherwise. No matter how many kids she had, no matter her family's reputation, none of that mattered because of that switch that was just turned off. It took the extreme
Yeah.
to force that hand. And I'm so glad it did, because now she's doing amazing things and she's helping the community, and the people that she's meeting and working with, they had to go through those extremes as well to get clean. So I guess like my question for you, through your experience and your stories, like what are your thoughts on incarceration with recovery?
I've never liked jail. I think there's jail is for people who rape kids, murder, right?
Hurt other people.
Yeah.
People who hurt other people.
Now, as far as drug use and throwing them in jail, that's not going to help them. Well, no, I take it back. It will. Like,
It helps some of them.
some,
Yeah.
right? Just depending on, I mean, I think that we should do more studies. Like, what's the rate of being in jail for 4 months to a year and then coming out and seeing where they go from there, right? But I don't know about incarceration.
I think it brings up a very big topic of the gap in Guam and in the CNMI about the lack of rehabilitative services. And so, not just outside of jail, but inside the prison as well. And so, you have, not going to get into the details that might cause too much of an uproar, but prison in Guam and the CNMI is not necessarily the best place for rehabilitation for a number of reasons.
Oh, yeah.
But you do have you have examples of people who go in, they're thoroughly embarrassed by their situation, and they're like, oh, you know what, I'm done with this. And so no matter what influences are even in jail, there's enough structure there where after a few months they're good.
Yeah.
And they've kicked the habit, and it's going to be a long time, if ever, that they return to the drink. But do so many people need to go to do people who are caught with drugs, it's just possession, minor possession of drugs, need to go to jail
For 25 years?
Yeah, or can we just be better as a community about rehabilitation outside of jail? Like right now, and I know you guys were having a conversation off of camera, right? It was a great conversation. I want to repeat it for the audience. Is if you were a user, Frank, and you just said, I'm done with this, man. I'm done messing up my life and my family. I'm gonna go to place X, and I'm gonna turn myself in so that I can start treatment. It doesn't work like that here. There's not enough room. There are not enough services. You're gonna get told, you might get told, come back in 3 days, here's your appointment card. And what were you saying about that?
Yeah, I ain't going back.
What
You don't-
user?
Man, I already made my mind. Like what
Yeah.
you're throwing, dude, I'm just gonna go and
Yeah.
do my normal shebang, you know?
You cannot go anywhere here today and knock on that door and say, I need to stay here. There's no safe space for you to get to detox and then take care of your problem. No
wow,
place.
even if I'm willing.
Even if you're willing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did at some
Yeah.
point Guam have something like that, and it's just out of control, or have we always just never provided enough services?
There's not enough services.
I think there's never been enough services. In Saipan, I was at a hearing for someone close to us who the judge was telling this person or was having this conversation with probation services and the attorneys, what are we going to do with this person? This person needs treatment. Can we go to this place? And the probation officer says, oh, that place closed down. Can we go to this place? We have to check, but there might not be enough room. What about Guam? Oh, Guam's this, and this shut down already. And we have to check whether there's other services available. And so it's not a good situation. And that's why in these courts, and mind you, the courts are only catching a very small percentage of users, just the ones who get caught. It's all the courts are catching, right?
Yeah.
The courts have to resort to, all right, jail,
Yeah.
prison time.
And even the courts have to resort to that, even if you're not a drug user, but you have mental issues. They don't. You can't. They can't
Oh,
just
because there's
bring
no
them.
facility here.
Right. So those people are in jail.
Oh.
And they're not getting rehabilitative services,
Yeah.
therapeutic services. You know?
Oh man, you're
Yeah.
thrown in the wolves.
Yep.
Yeah. Man, but yeah, holy cow. Okay.
I know it's a stark situation, right? But,
Yeah.
It's a reality
yeah.
Yeah.
for Ireland.
Well, so you're gonna get some kind of services if the court orders it, but there has to be room. The court always checks whether there's room. You know.
Yeah, because even our prisons are overflowing.
Oh yeah. Wait.
What was that third point? Sorry.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Where's
an
that?
adult and I can make my own decisions.
Oh, I know what I'm doing. Oh, we already covered that.
Yeah. Now we're
We
just
covered all our topic.
Yeah,
Right? So
I
now it's
felt-
whatever you guys want to ask.
Okay, I do have like a pretty upfront question for you, Troy.
Yeah.
So I remember.
I'm into my Dollaritas, so
Okay.
we're
Want to
good.
drink Frank? So I remember how I mentioned earlier, we've been watching you since day one. And I remember the way beginning, right? When you were on the news and
When it was volatile.
yeah, when he, no, it was,
Oh, that's a big word, volatile.
well, that was, yeah, it's a correct word. But, you know, when you were arrested and then your face was on the news, and I just remember being, you know, I was very eye-opening for me. And I even messaged you. I was like, hey,
Yes.
Troy, like, I hope you're okay.
Yeah.
Because my perception of a drug user and you just didn't make sense, right? But that was very eye-opening for me. And then that was kind of the beginning of this journey and why we're here today. So would you say that was a blessing in disguise?
Absolutely, yeah. I firmly believe that everything that happens is a blessing, the good and the bad, and that there's just a greater plan out there that I am not privy to, that none of us are privy to. And absolutely, now that I'm able to look back at it, and I'm seeing, and it's thanks be to God and glory to Him for all of that happening. And I handled it the wrong way. I
What do you mean?
I had a revenge. I mean, Kandit started because I was on a revenge streak.
Yeah.
It just happened to evolve into something else. But did I need to have a revenge streak? Did I need to hurt so many people along the way? Whether or not anyone believes that they deserved whatever. I hate to say that I regret that. What I want to say about that is that I have actively reached out to people and apologized for my behavior. And a lot of that does have to do with me realizing that that was a blessing in disguise. I even wrote something about how I'm grateful to the Mandania cops for what they did. Not that I agree with how they violated whatever, right? But had that not happened, maybe I wouldn't be. Maybe I'd be dead.
I
Maybe
think
wouldn't
I
be
would have
sober.
been. I would have been.
Yeah,
dead
like
by
what would
now.
you still be doing,
Yeah, look
right?
at this.
Or would you
Save both of you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
And so now I'm at this table sharing Dollaritas and a pineapple juice with you guys and these stories and trying to
And
make
you have a
difference.
knife.
Yeah, no, and
Knives.
I have
Yeah,
knives.
yeah,
And-
yeah.
And trying to make a difference
Mhm.
for Mother's Day. Because Mother's Day is this weekend, and I'm sure that there are a lot of mothers out there who are just yearning for their kids to come home.
Yeah.
And they're out there not wanting to be judged, not wanting to deal with whatever trauma is causing them to lapse into drug abuse, whatever they want to disguise with the meth. But there are these mothers who are just waiting.
And there's children waiting to share with you their Mother's Day cards that they wrote at school. So get your butt home,
Yeah.
you know?
I guess like, what would be some like suggestions or advice for family, like for the mom that just wants their child to come home, or the child that wants their mom to come home, or to get clean, or but then again, this is where we get back to there's no cookie cutter solution. The way that you're gonna deal, the way I'm gonna help solve your problem is very different from the way I want to solve yours.
Okay, so I was at the UOG assembly last week Wednesday, right? And there's college students, and so I met up with a boy that I'm friends with his mom, right? And his mom is in deep addiction, like super deep. So he says, "Hi, Auntie Johnny," right? I'm like, "Hi, my boy," and I hugged him and I kissed him, and I look at his face and I said, "When was the last time you talked to your mom?" And so he put his head down and he says, "She actually messaged me, but I haven't responded." And I said, I held him tight and I said, "Son, I'm not going to ask you to talk to your mom. All I'm going to ask you for is that you pray for her." And he said, "You know what, Auntie Johnny, I'm going to do that." And then he hugged me even tighter. So it's just a matter of time. A prayer. Like, you just have to pray.
I noticed that with the both of you and the people that I know who are recovering addicts is God.
Because there's a higher power. There's no way that we could have done this by ourselves.
Alone.
So like go to church. Would that be a good suggestion for someone?
Yeah, but it's just you can say that.
But truly,
it's very,
truly finding and having the relationship with him.
When I think about, Christine Calvo, the former first lady, when you were saying I first started my blow up, right? I found out that she offered mass for me, mass intentions for me at every single church around that time. And I used to make fun of her, and I said bad things about her, but she was praying for me. She was praying for me, and those prayers probably led to something. And if what a horrible Catholic and Christian that I was, to have scorned that during that time. But I was so stupid and immature, I didn't realize it until later. And I just don't want other people to be as stupid and immature as me when I was going through that. Yeah. I really hope that that people on meth, that this message can get through to them, that there's people really care. People really want to see it. Your mother really cares about you. Your father really cares about you. Your children really care about you.
Yeah, and what? The in thing isn't smoking meth anymore. Grab a drink, hang out with your friends. Like get it together, people.
Exercise, right?
Get it together.
Exercise,
get muscles, and
And your purpose, that's what it's really coming down to when I see you too. It's like it's really, or with everyone here, it's really just finding that purpose and driving towards that purpose, right? For all the nanas out there that have new kids, how do you arm your kids with the best thing to hopefully in the future say no?
Educate them.
First of all, you get them a set of Nana's knives. First of all. But you educate them.
Educate them. You educate them.
Educate them with, tell them how it
Everything.
is, just say no.
Everything.
Don't
All of it.
sugarcoat it,
Don't
right?
sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
That at the end of who makes you smoke meth for the very first time? It ain't the dealer off the street. It's your cousin, your sister, your brother, your best friend.
That's very good
true.
to know.
Educate them.
I don't
Educate
like that.
And I think
And
maybe,
it's not the dealers.
yeah,
It's not the people out there that's going to come into your house and say smoke this. It's the people around you.
So I think maybe one thing that I could probably add in is like, I think one thing that you can really arm your children or our children is confidence.
Yeah. Okay, let's bring that up.
Like
the
just
children you guys help with fighting, right?
Yeah,
the
yeah.
gyms that you guys are able to go out and like do
compete
community
and
work,
yeah.
right? Those children that get there, they're looking for something.
They're looking for
right?
something big time, dude.
Especially if
Sponges.
right. So from there, that's where it starts.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
most
So-
of the time, teenagers get into things because of boredom.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
and most people who use drugs, they're the smartest ones out of the group
Yeah.
because
That's
they're
so
bored and they're
interesting.
looking for something to do.
Yeah.
You know,
I see that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Something to elevate, something for more, right? Yeah, like if we could just arm our children with confidence so that they're so sure of themselves, they're so sure of the education that mom and dad are telling them, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, and then you are a product of who you surround yourself with.
Yeah, that's actually a big deal.
Yeah.
So anyone who is freshly into recovery, I tell them to, if you can't get rid of your phone, so number one is get rid of your phone and change your phone number, right? But if you can't do that, get rid of certain apps. Get rid of the apps that you use to communicate with people, like most especially Facebook Messenger.
Wow, really?
I shut off mine for 28 days from the day I got in trouble. I shut off.
All you need is that buddy
all
to
that.
hit you up.
28 days.
Yeah.
And they're all on Facebook Messenger or Instagram Messenger, or Grinder or Tinder or
That they know you quit, but they'll still message you like, "Hey, do you know where to get?" You know, and then it starts. And when you relapse is not when you hit the pipe. Relapse is bringing yourself to a place you know has dope. That's where the relapse begins. So this is your program for today. You're supposed to go here, 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 and you say to yourself, "I'm gonna go check so and so," knowing the dope's there. You relapse that moment. You made a plan to get there, not when you get there and use. The relapse happens when you plan.
When it's that decision.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Oh, you're doing great,
Yeah,
Mama.
yeah, you too.
Yeah, we're
You
proud
too.
of you. We're so proud.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for helping our audience with this. We really appreciate it.
And I'd love to do more.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because
Absolutely.
you know, like man, a whole nother subject is that now it's not just meth. Now it's a little bit of everything in it.
Opiates.
Opiates, which is making it more addictive, highly more addictive, more dangerous, right? There's
More lethal.
you know.
And if we can get the right leaders in there to help us navigate through this recovery,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
build more programs, and you know, it works out there. You
Yeah.
need to go out there, find what works out there, bring the model here, and let's open it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Like yeah.
Is there going to be tatas knives?
Yes.
That's gonna be the plan, yeah. Cleaver, do it, Cleaver.
Father's Day.
No, the machete's gonna be on the way. You know, I need that one. I need a proper one. You know, because Guam and Saipan and the Marianas. Imagine how iconic the machete is. But you know, since Tun Jack, you know, the master blacksmith, you know, you don't really get that machete no more. But there's no Guam or Marianas machete.
it.
I mean, that's the plan, you know. But I want to make a proper one,
Nice.
and
Yeah.
make and do it right. You know,
Yeah.
do it right. So that's the
Hey,
plan.
at some point, can you make a kumzu?
I know,
Yeah.
I've been telling him.
Dude, Komdu, Fusinos, Teraspuga, yeah. So, but see, like these are the ones that need proper attention, you know.
Wait, I got a joke for you.
Okay, let's hear it.
What did the daddy Puglet say to the baby Puglet? What?
I'm not your mom, Matt.
Where's your mom at?
Wow, that's a good one. I'm gonna use it. Wait, I have on my notes. I'm gonna write that one.
He has a dad's joke
Dad jokes.
filed.
I like that one.
You're like, he has dad jokes.
But you can only say that to people
Where's your
who see
mom
the
at?
mic.
Yeah, no, we use that here. Mom, yeah.
Yeah.
Though, I'm a Palawan, so I know the word.
You know
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I didn't know any of this until I went to the Saipan because only my grandparents' generation shoot the hard cut.
Mhm.
My mom and her siblings.
For sure, mom.
Do you guys have pugwa?
Do we have at the
Yeah,
house?
pugwa?
At the house, no.
No, I mean like on you.
Oh.
Oh no,
Me too.
dude, check this guy right there.
He has the soft one.
Oh,
you
that's
do
the
the
only
hard
one I
one.
chew.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh, that's so funny.
but I mean, I don't chew, but like if I were, you know.
okay. Tapos saipan.
Yeah, it's Saipan.
Yeah, and I love that you guys are wanting to help and wanting to open your mind and your heart, you know,
Yeah.
Me
to
too. And man, when I hit my girlfriend, I was like, wow, this is this is the reality. Yeah. Hopefully, we'll be the last of my friends, but
You know-
probably won't. You
you know,
know,
like-
so I need
like-
to arm myself to help. Right.